Hi everyone, this is Lori with 3 Keys Astrology. Good morning. I'm continuing to make monthly horoscopes for you for the month of April. And I'm doing this because if you head over to my website, www.3keysastrology.com, you'll see that I have a brand new reading offered for you. And they actually are written horoscopes delivered to your inbox each month, where these general forecasts that are on the internet talk about our transits in the world, where the planets are at a precise place and time, interacting with our Earth. Excuse me, please. And when you hear astrologers going through the wheel, if you're Aries, if you're Taurus, if you're Cancer, if you're Gemini, on and on, they're placing that sign at the rising sign point. But not every Aries has an Aries rising sign. So that's why it's important to have a relationship with an astrologer for your needs if you're interested in this ancient science. And so you'll see a row of bombs on my website because I'm featuring that it's a new reading. And the readings only cost $100 for a month. And if you want to order all 12, go ahead and do that. And I'll get your email address, and rather than meeting me on Zoom like we do for readings and consultations, I will give you a written report that's customized to your birth chart. So that's pretty exciting. And to give you an example of what they would be like, for the first time, excuse me please, I'm doing each sign, and now it's your turn, Libra. So Libra, you, like we Taurians, are ruled by Venus, but our planetary ruler is retrograde right now, and that means that there needs to be some kind of repairing or revising in the areas of life where we are measuring valuables. So that can be doing research for your portfolio. And because love and money are, and abundance and wealth and prosperity are the gifts of the goddess of love, Venus, we have to measure and repair or reconstruct or reapproach or revise something in those areas of our lives. For you, Libra, I have some really good news for you. Black Moon Lilith is finally out of your... I'm sorry. My husband and I have been very, very sick with walking pneumonia. And when Mercury goes retrograde, Mercury rules our lungs. There can be reinfection and a recurrence of infection. And a lot of people have this, unfortunately. There's a lot of inflammatory things in the air because Pluto's in Aquarius. For you, Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising, or if you have a stellium in Libra, this is important for you. Black Moon Lilith got off of you. So she was on your Sun, your Moon, or your Rising sign for the last 19 months. And that's a hard thing to endure. That means that you were somehow engaged with some kind of evil entity that was in your daily life. And that person has an insatiable thirst to steal from you your joy, your happiness, your peace somehow. Now that energy's moved. Unfortunately, we all have Black Moon Lilith somewhere in our birth charts, and it's a part of us on an individual basis where we'll sell out, give away our power, or take a back seat to things that are going on. Now, you're ruled by Venus, so your planetary ruler is highly important, and Venus of essential dignity rules your second house. Everybody. Of money, valuables, love, prosperity, how you earn material goods, what you do with those goods, how well you take care of things. And Black Moon Lilith is here now. So for this next year, you certainly need to be on guard of finances, what you're investing in, and figuring out priority. And most important, valuable more than anything else on this planet is who we love and who we care for, who we're nourishing, who we're giving our affection and attention to. So that's where that is for you. And as I said, because Venus is retrograde, and she will be until we have a full moon in your sign. So this is a pretty active month for Libra. And that occurs on the 12th or 13th of April, depending on where you live in the world. That happens to be the beginning of Passover, Libra. And at this full moon culmination, Venus finally stations direct. So the work that you do at the beginning of April will greatly help you figure out what needs to be revised, repaired, reconstructed, revisited, really. And unfortunately, I think, but at this time, people from your past can be coming back that you maybe had a crush on or had a relationship with, but things went wrong. And we astrologers caution you to remember, instead of getting all excited about the attention that you're getting, remember why the relationship broke up in the first place. And if it's a question of maturity, maybe there's a period or time where that can work again, but that could also be going on for you. Now, the first half of the month is uncomfortable because there's a lot of activity going on. In Aries right now, we've got the goddess of chaos there. We have the sun there, which is your opposition energy. And this is your shadow side. So if you're unhappy and if you're unhealthy and if you're not doing well, Libra, you turn into an infantile, selfish, self-involved individual. And you kind of think that you can handle everything by yourself rather than being in union or in a loving, sharing, reciprocal relationship. So these are things that you need to be working on and taking a look at right now. The good news is when Venus stations direct on the full moon, that's your full moon. So a cycle of your life is coming to a close. Each year, every single sign gets a brand new moon, which is a brand new beginning. And then you get a full moon closure of something going on. This is happening to you. So Libra, you indeed can be feeling a little under the weather, not feeling so strong, not feeling so well. But new beginnings are promised. And you can get more details if you come and get a personalized reading. But with the entity of Black Moon Lilith in your second house of things you value, and of essential dignity, the love area of your life, you have to be careful who you're mixing and mingling with, Libra. When Venus stations direct, that's sweet for all of us because she's in her dignity. She's in her highest exaltation for the entire month of April. And this happens in your everyday life of work. Now, I know that you've had some frustration at work because Mars is in Cancer and has been kind of tormenting and taunting you since last fall. Mars will go direct in Leo, which is going to benefit you on the 19th of the month. So things are going to get a little bit easier on the work front, but if you're feeling frustrated and you don't feel like you're getting recognized, or maybe you don't have the pay grade you think you deserve, some of that frustration will be alleviated as we go through the month. For each and every sign this month, I'm bringing back the work in memory of Dr. Mark Edmund Jones, who was a renowned psychologist that I think taught at Yale. And as a teaching professor and practicing psychologist and lover of astrology, he wrote several astrology books. And today I'm featuring the Sabian symbols according to Mark Edmund Jones, Dr. Mark Edmund Jones. His son is an active astrologer who I believe lives in England and is as intelligent as his father, and is worth looking into if you're interested in astrology and how all of us do our express our different interests in the field. So we're going to talk about the Sabian symbol for you that happens at your full moon, which happens to be at 23 degrees of Libra. And on this day, the ruler stations direct. So that's good, but there's some contentious energy you should know, because the sun and the moon are always opposite each other at full moons, so tensions are high. We also have the moon in conjunction to Venus, so that can be difficulty with females in your life, most importantly your family. This happens at 8:22 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the Sabian symbol for this, Aries, is important for you because it highlights your shadow. And according to the Sabian symbols of Mark Edmund Jones, the imagery is the cock of the walk. And right away, we can envision the illusion of a cock strutting, and he thinks everybody's afraid of him, and he's all about himself, rather vainglorious. And this image of the rooster speaks about your self-image and a mental picture you could be throwing off. Because at this time of full moons, there can be a rather heightened amount of anger. Mars will be moving into Leo, and we're going to have an opposition to Pluto. So I've offered to everyone listening, if you are a Libra, put the degree in the comments below on YouTube of your sun, your moon, or your rising sign, and I will tell you what the monogram of your life. You see, these are universals or archetypes that help define personality quirks and personality essence. And so if you offer me in the comments below your sun, moon, or rising sign degree, I will tell you what that Sabian symbol is. And you'll see how that's changed or molded or seems to be a constant in one's life because these are. Only you can be the hero of your own story. There is a beginning to our lives, and we have an expiration date to our lives. And we astrologers look at that entire holistic wheel, and it turns in time as you evolve or devolve. That's why it's so important for self-introspection. That's why it's so important to take a really look at what your purpose is and whether or not you're living your soul purpose and following your divine gifts. So back to what Dr. Mark Edmund Jones says about the cock of the walk. Keeping in mind, Libra, you're very sweet people. I have a lot in my family that are Libra. And you are mental. Your energy is mental. The best thing you can do for yourself is to drop down into your heart and figure out what you need and what's important and what am I prioritizing, especially this full moon culmination, because after every full moon begins a new moon. Now, this symbol speaks to your self-image, and the image of the chanticleer or the rooster who dramatically heralds the dawn with a loud and boisterous crow symbolizes enthusiasm, assertiveness, ambition, and pride, and having a definite purpose to play in the role of society. The suggestion here is that there are benefits to be gained by drawing attention to those things that are important and special in the overall scheme of things. But on a practical level, this image can signify a wake-up call because it represents self-confidence, competency, and a convincing air of authority that gains a loyal following. On the negative slant of this energy, the cock of the walk, that strutting rooster, it infers an arrogance and a cockiness or an obnoxious attempt to elevate oneself through grandiloquent, high-sounding rhetoric. So the accent is on ego and self-affirmation. And your greatest advantage right now is getting a little more humble, getting back into your Libra energy where you truly desire cooperation, collaboration, camaraderie, a brotherhood, rather than flipping off to your shadow side where I'll do it by myself, I don't need anybody, I'm going to live all alone, because years go by and maybe that's what's going to happen. Dr. Mark Edmund Jones cautions to guard yourself against exaggerating or overstating your case. Being too loud or too aggressive right now can work against yourself. And so overall, this is a bit of a wake-up call. And now you can recall times of conflict in your life. Were you strutting around? Did you walk off in front of everybody else? Did you think you were better than your father, your mother, your employer, your best friend? Because unfortunately, the shadow side of your energy is that infantile Aries who eventually forgets about what everybody else need because he or she is so consumed with oneself. So I want to talk to you a little bit about where the Mars-Pluto opposition is going to happen. And this, unfortunately, is in your house of career. The only reason it can be unfortunate for you, because it's better than having Cancer there, which is what you've been dealing with since last November, which caused a lot of high frustration. The good thing is Leos and Libras are pretty good compadres, and they're energies that understand each other, and they're two signs that can get a lot of things done together. My little grandsons have these two signs, and that's really good for their future. But in your case, this energy is bouncing back down to your home, because whatever happens at work, we take home. Whatever happens at home, we bring back to work. And therein lies some kind of ending going on in your home. And it could be the death of a loved one, or something drastic going on with one of your parents, Libra, because Mars and Pluto in this opposition, in your case, Libra rising especially, has a connection to Capricorn, which is endings and death. It's Saturn ruled. With Pluto and Saturn there, there's some kind of ending going on with a family member. And of course it's going to affect you, your whole life, your whole world. Now, again, this prediction right now applies particularly to Libra rising, because you've got Cancer at the top of your heart chart in what's called the medium coli, and then the bottom of the chart is the immium coli. Sorry, the top is the midheaven, the bottom is the immium coli. And the immium coli part of the chart happens in our fourth house of family and our friends, our home life, what's going on at home. And so, like I said, we are only human, and we're feeling, and we care about one another, and we need relationships in order to live happy, healthy lives. So I want you to know that in the month ahead, all of us, every sign in the zodiac, April 3rd, April 13th, and April 18th are pretty difficult days for this month. But if you bless this time of this full moon energy and say goodbye gracefully, or be thinking about, we've got Mercury retrograde and we have Venus retrograde, be thinking about how could I better communicate? Am I as loving as God made me? What can I do to let my loved ones know how much I care about them? And how can I be more cooperative at my work? Within my family and overall with friends. I hope that,